So next is some greatness, and the subject is Konnan the Big Jobber. Just playing Konnan. That's the first line.
Mm.
Right.
Okay, glad you're back yelling at Disco. Hopefully you bury Billy soon for being a wrestling informer despite him reporting zero wrestling news in K100 in about 3 or 4 weeks. All he does is talk about his opinions. No one gives a flying about what Billy thinks on any subject and give us mark news or off.
This is
That's
like
not true.
th-
Greatness, because like we said, the clip of him, me and us arguing about Billy's opinions got a lot of views on YouTube and a lot of comments. So you guys don't get it. People like you guys complain about the guy. Nobody wants an echo chamber.
Right.
Okay,
It's
well, I
like the
want people
fans. They think they
disagreeing
know
with us,
about the
right?
business, but they really don't. Because a
Right.
lot of times when I talk to fans about what would you like to see, and I'm like, dude, that's not going to make any money.
Right.
You're here to make money.
Right.
Okay.
So next is from the question for K100. Last night, Wrestling Bios released his episode on the Great American Bash '98, which had Goldberg versus Konnan on the card. Here's what I want to know. I understand that Goldberg was being pushed at the same time you were just doing your job by putting him over, but what I really want to know is, what was the backstage reaction to that? You'd just become a member of the Wolfpack about 3 weeks earlier. Now, in the first pay-per-view since the faction formed, one of the guys is being squashed in pay-per-view and then jumped after the match by Henning and Rude. Do you remember how you and Nash reacted to this booking?
No, I don't. But I do
Go ahead.
remember that. I just thought I didn't like it because I'd never been squashed in 3 seconds. I was always the guy doing the squashing.
Right.
But I did understand, hey, I'm just another guy trying to get him over, just like somebody's going to get me over. You know what I'm saying? So that was my mentality.
And we all would be in the buildings each night and hear the pops the guy was getting.
Right.
So it was like, it's like,
right.
All
It wasn't like you were jobbing
like
to some.
Right. You're doing the job
jobbing
at Goldberg.
to the hottest guy in the company.
And your match is going to be one of the biggest pops of the night. Okay. Right. So it's like,
Yeah. And people always reflect on Goldberg versus Hogan or Goldberg versus Raven as like his big, step up to the next level.
No, he beat a lot of guys quick, but that's
I'm saying,
yeah.
What I'm saying is Konnan was the biggest star that he beat at that time. That was an obvious, like, he's going to the next level because they had him go over on Konnan like that.
I just wonder if Konnan would have been given the green light to book Cross like Goldberg in AAA.
I would have.
There,
I would have, but there's no way you could do that there.
Right. That's But bro, the Goldberg stuff is never really done before in WCW.
Yeah, but it's different. These guys,
right.
but AAA's thing was like, okay, we're paying this guy's guarantee and his planes and his hotel for him to do this for 30 seconds. And I go, yeah, but the payoff's going to be great. But they didn't see it, know.
Next is from SCSA, and the subject is Patreon Gonzo. Good day, guys. Quick and to the point. Billy just had his lock betting Patreon shut down. Do you think a Billy hater snitched on him? Apparently, betting stuff isn't allowed on Patreon. Thanks, Eddie Gonzalez. Did you hear about this, Konnan?
No.
So Billy's Patreon got shut down, but because they said no, and this is weird. Okay, because there's still sites on there, but they claim to him that they're trying to cut back on gambling content. Bro, it's gambling information. Like he's giving it. There's no gambling going on.
Yeah, it's sports.
He's giving out his picks, right? It's basically sports.
Bro, this to me is. I think, and I could be wrong, but there's people that definitely hate him, definitely hate you, definitely hate me, definitely hate the opinionated guys, right?
Right.
All these virtue signalers, and they'll go out of their way to try to fuck up your, and so I guarantee you somebody went out of the way to try to put this guy over.
Yeah, I would bet on that for sure.
Could you believe this guy, goofy Brian Dunlap? Listen to this email. This is ridiculous. Brian Dunlap. He's the guy that does his booking ideas every week. Remember we talk about him? Like every time he. All right, Wrestling Otaku wants Tony Khan to hire him.
Okay, wait a minute. Who? I'm serious. Who's that?
That's that Mark that cut the promo on us that time. That had the glasses and everything. That neck beard. Remember?
Isn't that guy from New York, that JD guy?
No, this is a different guy.
This is the guy that the Mark, the super Mark, that cut the promo on us. Like a.
I'll show. You'll see him in
like an overweight guy.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yes, the guy with the double chin and stuff. Right, that guy. Right. Okay. Hello, Konnan Disco. You might not want to hear about the IWC guru Wrestling Otaku again, but he's recently sent out a video called "Tony Khan, I'm still waiting for that job offer." From what I've watched in the video,
good luck looking like that.
Otaku wants a creative position in AEW. Do you think TK would ever give that to him? If he did, would it be a negative or a net gain for all elite wrestling? I'm like, I remember from earlier podcast discussion for K100, an issue you guys had with AEW is where are the gimmicks and where are the characters? Wrestling Otaku is definitely a gimmick and a character, but he's ready for the big time like AEW. What about an indie run? Wrestling Otaku doesn't necessarily have a look that screams TV friendly, but there might be something. What do you think? If
Oh
you're a
my
wrestler, an avalanche splash for Otaku would legitimately look like it hurts. He goes on many rants. Perhaps his ranting style could be considered, and he could be a manager of sorts. And yeah, there's a video of him and his request to work for AEW. We are not watching this. You're talking about a mark, and you want us to comment on a mark? Brian, stick to wrestling characters for questions. All right, we don't care. Like the guy's a mark, and they should not hire the mark. So whatever.
And to me, it's not just about not hiring a mark, but if you've ever watched his stuff or listened to him, he's a little on. He just wouldn't. He probably can't hold any job.
The thing that you sent me, he doesn't seem like the most intelligent guy in the world.
Right.
Just to start off, number 2, and take that as you want, Otaku. I really don't give a challenge me, whatever you're gonna do after you hear this, because somebody will send it to him and he'll get triggered. The other one is bro. If Tony Khan hasn't hired other people that have distinguished past on the writing committee, he's definitely not going to hire this Jay Brown. I can guarantee you that.
All right. So this is a pretty simple question from the mailbag that has made it to this week's edition of K100 Talks. Okay. Guess who this email is from, Conan?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Tremendous.
That's what it says.
He's back.
And the subject is Conan's Takeshita. How are we supposed to pronounce it, Joe?
Takeshita
critique. How is Carlos going to be mad about Konosuke Takeshita? Not whatever racist xenophobic you morons say. Using the Eddie Guerrero shimmy because Takeshita isn't quote unquote Mexican. That's grand coming from the Cuban born Puerto Rican who's been cosplayed as a Mexican stereotype for 30 years.
All right.
And this is basically the response from the internet people on the clip that we had last week. But let's just start off with this. Let's play the clip. Actually, no, let's not play the clip. Okay, Joe, here's what I want you to do.
Sure.
I want you to read like the text of what Conan said that's been reported by the dirt sheets, okay? And everybody that's commenting on this.
And let me answer this guy because he said that's grand coming from a Cuban Puerto Rican cosplaying as a Mexican. That's the most asinine statement. That's like me saying, "Oh, Al Pacino, an Italian, played a Cuban in Scarface." He's cosplaying as a Cuban. He's doing. He was acting. I was acting. But
Right.
You guys are a bunch of.
Okay, what do we get?
Straight up.
Play the clip.
And that is.
You want me to read it or play it?
I want you to read it first, but because reading it and playing it you get two different vibes.
Okay.
Right?
So here's the quote that's been reported everywhere at this point. Well, Takeshita, whatever, he's got heat with me, and he's lucky I wasn't in El Paso because when he went up and did the Eddie Guerrero thing for the frog splash, you're not Mexican, dude. I don't care. Stick to your nationality.
Okay. All right. I can't. Okay, people read that like. So if you read that, okay,
Right.
and you're taking that text like on its word, right? You actually think that Conan is legitimately hot, and that if he would have been there when Takeshita did that, that they would have had a confrontation or worse.
Do you actually think that would have transpired?
Bro, this is. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when I did the legendary story about how I had the Martian invasion angle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the first week of the Martian invasion angle, okay, I said like Mike Tenay would be sitting at the desk and two antennae would pop out of his head like a Martian.
Right.
Like now think about that. Okay.
Right.
First of all, we would need like CGI to produce that.
Right.
Okay. And like if you're thinking that like I actually like am being serious about like I don't know, bro, but I say it very deadpan.
Right.
That's what we do.
Right.
We work people. We say stuff. But
right.
You
got work and you don't like it, and you don't like it. And so let me tell you the other thing. Here's what's funny.
Well, before you comment, let's play the clip, okay? Because that's when you read that, and people read it and they want to be offended. They're just going to be offended, right? Now play the clip.
It's Konosuke Takeshita, not Takeshita.
I like how
Takeshita or whatever, he's got heat with me, and he's lucky I wasn't in El Paso because when he went up and he did the
Eddie Guerrero thing before the frog splash. You're not Mexican, dude.
Yeah, but he showed personality, though.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'll give the guy some.
I don't
The
care.
guy didn't have a lot of personality.
Maybe it was his favorite wrestler when he grew up.
Yeah,
And it got a pop.
Yeah.
It got a pop.
Yeah,
Do you want? Well, there's a little bit more.
Fish.
yeah, stick to your nationality.
So Takeshita ended up.
Okay. There
All
we
right.
go.
So here's what's funny, because this goes back to the wrestling journalism topic we had on K100 last week.
Mhm.
I've never, ever seen, and please correct me if I'm wrong, all the we put over, whether it's the Bloodline, whether it's Sami Zayn, whether it's MJF, whether it's the match with Rush and Danielson, whether it's the Lucha Brothers, whether it's the Young, I've never seen them put over, or when I've defended Tony Khan, but yet he gets mad over if I say something bad about the company, but he's never said, hey, thanks for when people are trying to bury me, you coming to my defense, even though you take a lot of shit. But all I ever read is from Sportskeeda or other places, it's clickbait. That's
Right.
all it is. I don't even get mad. It's clickbait, and you fall for it. And look, it trended. You were being worked. That's dry humor. That's wit. That's sarcasm. That's my stilo. If you notice on Twitter, there were a lot of people that were like, that listened
Some
to
of the
the
boys
show.
got worked.
Yeah.
The boys got worked. Miro,
Right.
Read Miro's tweet, Joe.
Right.
Miro's tweet. Okay, 2 seconds. Miro tweeted, I bet you all that Konnan, or whatever his name was, can't last 10 seconds with Takeshita.
Yeah, he got worked too.
Bro, when you were a worker in the business,
Right.
and your comments echo the marks,
Right. You're a
it's
mark.
like the marks aren't like the workers. You're
Right.
like the marks. All
Right.
right. So that's what you're doing. So it's like, yeah, come on, guys.
So it's
ahead.
incredible to me that it even got this much traction, but it just shows me a couple things. People are easily triggered. People are looking for to get mad about. There's obviously people that don't like me, so this was a good excuse for them to just pile on. But if you see some of the Twitter feeds of the people that listen to the show, they were like, they don't understand your humor, because I can guarantee you 80% of the people did not hear the show, and they don't know the context, and they don't know my humor, or when Disco gets attacked, his humor. And the worst part is that since they don't listen to the show and all they ever do is use clickbait, you think the show's super negative because all they read is negative, and so everybody's got the same opinion that don't listen to the show. Oh, they're washed up, they're trying to be relevant, they're haters, whatever it is, and so that's why anytime I see something in the news, and I know you're the same way, DI, anytime I read something in the news, I go, let me hear it first, because I don't know how many times I've read something, and then for not listening to it, I didn't get the whole context. I'm like, well, this isn't what they meant. They just extrapolated this, put it out there to get hits, views, and monetize it, bury the guy in the process. But if you listen to the whole thing, that's not what he meant or what he said or what he was trying to convey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Bro, like I said, when
But
I
if
see
you
people
actually
commenting
think,
on this, like,
and I heard some girl was like, oh, that's racial and, all this. And I go, I've experienced actual racism. Like don't tell me I'm racial. It was a joke, So yeah.
You did tell me that you thought that you were by everybody. That's a good.
I never said that. I never. That's a great line.
All right, yeah, you got by the internet over your Takeshita comments.
That's a great
over
line.
the allegation that you're being racist against Japanese wrestlers. You got by the internet.
Right. That's tremendous.
Bro, let me tell you something. And this is a problem. And this is a problem in the younger, the newer generation these days. Bro, it's getting to the point where nobody wants to read a comment and even consider if they were trying to be sarcastic or funny.
Right.
Their immediate reaction is venomous. You should apologize. I'm offended. So it's like, no, dude. It's like, bro, there is a war on comedy. I do not see this new generation, like this younger generation, having a lot of funny people, because you can't be funny. You can't poke fun at anything anymore. Like, somebody is going to get offended, but like humor is offending people and things, and then like it's an
and even when you
humor.
say it's humor, they're telling me, oh, you're backpedaling, bro. Don't tell me
No,
what I'm doing.
Bro, we have a cat. The funniest thing about this is though, our listeners, like even Harry was on the thing. Nobody, I didn't think anything of this.
Right.
Until all the people that don't listen to the show, that just read the clickbait
Right.
and stuff, they start commenting. Then everybody listens to them. It's like, dude, you can listen to the show.
Right.
You know, and then get it for yourself. But no, you just want to comment and stuff like that. All the right people were complaining about this too. The mark podcasters and stuff. You know, just like all the marks.
Right.
That-
and
that-
it's
that-
funny
that-
because
that-
there's
that are so
it's
easy to
almost
work,
like they
you know?
mobilize this mob that must
Yep.
be sleeping in virtue signaling pods.
I know.
Okay, it's time to go after this guy. Come on, guys, let's go get him. Yeah, let's go get him.
Let me tell you exactly
Yeah.
what it's like. When you're a fireman,
Right.
you go in for like a 48-hour, like a 24-hour shift,
Right.
Mm.
And then basically, sometimes you'll be sleeping, and the fire alarm
Right.
will go off. You know? And they all get out, they put on their clothes,
What
they
do you
get their
think about
hoses
this,
out.
Sweet Lips?
Yeah, what do you think, Joe?
I was gonna say, like, when I edit the show, if I hear something that I think, ooh, maybe that isn't gonna work, and then I'll come to you guys and say, hey, I said such and such, you guys said such and such. Do you think we should pull that? I didn't think that at all. I thought you were joking.
Because his tone, obviously.
Yeah,
was,
there's no
was-
way
was-
that
right.
that I thought you were being serious at all. You know.
Right.
But here's
You
the
can tell when Tony is when Conan is serious
For
being
sure.
serious about an issue. His tone changes. He's very direct and stuff.
it was a
This just
throwaway
flip-
joke.
You know, he's got heat
basically.
with me. You know,
Right.
he's got heat with you for doing the frog splash. It's like,
Right.
come on, how could, bro? That
Right.
just shows
The
the mental
Usos do the
acumen.
frog splash.
Yes.
Montez Ford does the
People were
frog
like-
splash.
I saw someone say, "How come Conan didn't complain when Logan Paul did the frog splash or
Right.
the Eddie thing?" Yeah.
It shows you the mental
Like I can't
capacity the
believe
wrestling
I
fans
can't believe anybody would think that was true, and you got worked and you don't like it. So your
Right.
excuse is, oh, it wasn't a funny joke, or what was the other one?
Oh,
that
you're
I oh, you're
backtracking.
backpedaling. Yeah.
do. Backpedaling. No, you got work because we're
Right.
just being funny on
Right.
the show.
And you
It's
don't
our
like
job.
it.
And we
Right.
don't care.
Right.
We'll be mildly offensive at times and stuff,
Right.
but not in a hateful
This ain't the
way,
show
you know?
for you. Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right.
Here's Wrestling Inc. put out an article about your tweet, right?
Right.
So here it
Jesus.
goes.
Well,
Who's Wrestling
we're
Inc?
content creators, so it's like, you know.
Is that Nick
they-
Hausman?
Hausman's at Wrestling Inc. now, yeah.
Right.
But he didn't write this though.
Right.
AAA booker Conan's health may be on the upswing, but everything else going on for him right now seems to be a bit hectic. The Lucha Libre legend has had to defend AAA, bringing back controversial luchador Alberto El Patron. Reportedly visited AEW Dark recently to try and smooth things over between AAA and AEW after AAA's brief dalliance with WWE, and is now in hot water over criticism he had for Takeshita.
No, I'm not in hot water. What hot water am I in?
Doing an Eddie Guerrero tribute in El Paso last Wednesday.
Oh my God! You're in
hot water with
Logan.
who? The IWC Mark? Yeah, good.
Right.
I'll stay in
It
that
says-
water.
Or
Right.
was it criticism? Taking to Twitter early Tuesday morning after receiving backlash for his remarks on social media, Conan claimed his comments were taken out of context.
Okay, let me explain something. Number
Well,
one,
let you finish your article. Let you
Okay.
finish and we'll comment.
This Takeshita thing, I'm stuck on that too. This Takeshita thing was a joke. Like, I'm really gonna get mad over him doing a frog splash. Everyone does it. If you actually believe I was hot, joke's on you, Conan tweeted. After one fan accused Conan of backtracking and suggested he should apologize, Conan fired back with this. Please don't tell me what I did or what my intentions were. If you don't think it's a joke, that's on you. Regardless of Conan's intentions, his comments towards the rising AEW star, and he, among other things, stated Takeshita should, quote, stick to your nationality, unquote. It's garnered
Oh.
far
Did
more
that really hurt all you guys? Really? That really hurt you guys? That give me a break. Go ahead.
It's garnered far more attention than he would like. The most notable wrestling personality to acknowledge the comment so far has been Miro, who suggested Conan wouldn't last 10 seconds with Takeshita in reference to Conan's statement where he said Takeshita was lucky Conan wasn't in El Paso last
Right,
week.
like you actually think I was gonna go? Give me a break.
In a positive development, Takeshita can be seen tonight on AEW Dark, where he'll wrestle Bronson. No word yet on whether or not he will break
But
out.
what was the
frog splash.
first line that I was trying to answer, where he said he waited till what was it that he waited till today to answer, something like that?
Taking to Twitter early Tuesday morning after receiving backlash for his remarks on social media. Conan
Okay.
claimed his comments were taken out of context.
When was I supposed to answer? I mean, that's when I saw it.
I didn't see it till today either. Yeah.
So when were you supposed to adhere to the unwritten rules of the internet,
Right.
people? Right.
Right.
So
Right. How did I know that?
Right.
Bro,
Oh,
it was a
that's-
joke,
Right.
and that's the last time I'm gonna say it. So if
Yeah.
you didn't get it, that's on you. Boom.
Right. Yeah. No offense to this guy. We did like well.
Right.
The only thing we
I
make
haven't- I don't
critical of
even
is,
know
like,
him.
we
Yeah.
don't we don't bury this guy. We just say we don't get what the buzz is
Right.
like. He's so great.
Right.
But that's
Like
this guy's good.
Lance, what's this guy's name?
But,
Lord
I'm
Cyrus
I'm
told
gonna
me he
throw-
was incredibly talented, and so did Dave Meltzer. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, he doesn't seem any more talented than Bandito. I
Right.
mean,
Oh, and the plus two. Let me make another point here. This is you. It's like you internet people. You are overhyping this guy and making it very unfair for him because they're putting him in a prominent position now. He's not really drawing. The only thing he's really getting is just praise from a bunch of your community. Get the guy over. Put him in some vignettes. Do some interviews with him. Stuff and thing. But
Right.
all this stuff of like oh, this guy's a great worker. It's like I said, I'm watching his matches. Like that work is like any better than anybody else. It's like no. He's just
Right.
like he's like a typical worker of today. He does the thigh slapping, the Japanese forearm spot. He's athletic. He looks great.
right.
Like he's a built guy.
I agree with
handsome
everything
Japanese-
that you're saying. Yeah.
but it's like the guy needs work on and he did
Yeah,
show some
character development.
And the funniest thing about it was what I talked about when he did the Eddie Guerrero thing. That's the first charismatic thing the guy's done since he's been on the show. So it's like
Probably, yeah.
yeah, right. So whatever. So that's been our edition of K100 Talks out of the K100 Keeping 100 mailbag this week.
Boom. If you got any opinions, questions, anything on the subject matter, send your questions to k100questions@gmail.com.
All right. Next is from we had a lot of mail this week again.
Mm-hmm.
Next is from Valerie D, and the subject is cool. Hey, K100 crew, I have a question on what
Email
factors
listener. How about that?
Yeah. I have a question on what factors into making someone cool, especially from Konnan. Konnan's mentioned often that he thinks Tony Khan is cool. Meanwhile, I was quick to point out what a nerd and Mike Durbin is. I'm not saying Durbin is cool, but is it possible that Durbin had that Tony Khan money and started his own wrestling promotion while Khan was just a guy paying hard cash for a Jeff Lane t-shirt so he could be a guest on Russo's show and eventually trick his way into being on K100? Would you, Konnan, still think Khan was cool solely based on his personality? So basically saying, like, you call Khan cool, but you still think Durbin was... Would you think Durbin was still a nerd and Tony Khan was still cool?
She's saying reverse the roles. Mike Durbin owns AEW and has $1 billion. And Tony Khan is a guy who paid to get a shirt to be on the brand and now
probably. I think it is cool that you're a billionaire and that you own a soccer team and you own a football team and a wrestling promotion. I do think that's cool. And when I talk to him, we like the same movies. He's a humongous sports fan, which, as you know, I am. So I can talk with him sports from UFC to college basketball to college football to everything, and we have like the same taste in movies and comedy. So it's a really good conversation when we're having non-wrestling conversations.
And I don't think you're harsh on Mike like that. You said, you like Mike, but you give him for action figures, and what the hell? That's funny. You're not over the top or
me and Mike are cool, bro. It's all part of it's all part of the busting balls thing here.
Exactly.
You're gonna be if I'm not busting your balls, you're probably not my friend. So
there you go, Valerie.
Next is from Straight to the Baja. Subject is Dom's progress. What's up, Konnan? Disco and America's Ugliest Twink. Oh, that's a cheap show. Quick question. Dominik Mysterio was strictly being trained by you, Disco, not letting his mind rot watching Lucha and taking sketchy advice from that Carolina hick Shane Helms. Would he already be main eventing WrestleMania? You were the superior one for a reason. No, this is just a bit. Actually, we're gonna suspend this guy because he's just basically here and just insulting people. So, but we put over Dom because he's improving dramatically. So,
but he's just saying, would Dom be improving faster if you were in Shane Helms' place? I don't know.
I'm just, bro. This guy's just trying to insult people. So
yeah,
I've worked with Dom before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dom and Ray got in the ring together here in Vegas. So it's like yeah. I mean, of course I would. If he was working with me, I teach him stuff. So, he may be coming to work before his match at WrestleMania here in Vegas with me and Ray. So, next is a Wade and Grohl find. The subject is Konnan versus Khan. Next time you have Billy on the show and he has no wrestling news, don't record a wrestling segment. The WrestleMania 39 segment you guys recorded with him was just a mid-40s mark rambling for nearly 50 minutes. And then to make it even worse, even when Konnan came back from his phone call, Billy repeated the entire rant all over again. Billy is such a bad podcaster, he doesn't know that the show is being recorded for the audience, not the people on the show. Just stick to K100 Sports from now on because you guys letting Billy think he's some type of wrestling expert is killing the show. Any random mark could do that. Question though, Conan, I recently seen this article just to make it because every time somebody writes this in, bro, our numbers are going up, not down. Okay, so everything you guys say, the funny thing is when I used to say people, like when all these Mark podcasters and dirt sheet guys and everything say this guy's got go away heat. Okay, but you never go away. So who are you speaking for? Like with the go away. So you people listen to our comment we had on YouTube with Billy this week. We argue with them, and you probably liked it because it looks like we're going to be right because Cody was over huge again on Monday. So, question though, Conan, I recently seen this article online about heat between AAA and AEW. I was wondering if maybe you could update us on the heat, and maybe fill in the backstory that caused the problems. And the article is between AAA and AEW could search for upcoming Hijo del Vikingo opponent. According to the WrestleMania, what big name will face Hijo Vikingo for the AAA Mega Title in 2023? The plan may be for one of AEW's top stars. It matters things to smooth out from where they currently sit. According to the Observer, AAA's hope for one of the AAA shows this year is to have Vikingo face either Kenny Omega or recent free agent Kota Ibushi. However, AAA may have to work to do in securing at least Omega in terms of reestablishing a strong relationship with Tony Khan following what went down with FTR and Acapulco. There, FTR dropped 8 AAA tag team titles to Dragon Lee and Dralistico at December's Night of Champions, despite Tony Khan being made aware in advance that Lee had agreed to a deal with WWE. It is believed that Khan may have been under the impression at some point that it'd be AEW's own Rush tagging with Dralistico to beat FTR for the title change instead. But AAA used Lee in that spot as a favor to WWE, in spite of whether or not it made sense to have a champion that minutes later would vacate the championship with his exit, with WWE desiring to stick it to AEW and how things played out. AAA Booker Conan did go to Orlando at the end of January, hoping to improve the situation between both promotions and deal with any repercussions. How that went so far is anyone's guess. You got a comment on that? Did we talk about this on the show? Go ahead.
I don't think so.
No. No, you spoke with me about it. We haven't talked about this yet. Yeah, go ahead. You want to talk about it?
Well, this is what I can say.
Okay.
So basically the thing is that WWE reached out to AAA, not to me, to AAA, and my boss. And I guess they wanted to film something with Dragon Lee, who had just been signed to NXT or was going to sign to NXT after the match. So basically what happened is that originally Dragon Lee wasn't going to be in that match. It was going to be Rush, who's his brother, Rush. And so when I asked Rush to take his place, he just said, hey, with all due respect, that's my brother. But he did his history with Dralistico. That's another brother. They're 3 brothers. Okay. He said he did his
Rush, Dralistico, and Dragon Lee are all brothers.
Right. So he said he did his history with Dralistico, and I don't want to just be handed a title. I want to earn it and I want to win it. And I said, all right, so we'll keep Dragon Lee in there. And so I think.
Did you think this would be a big deal when that decision?
No, if not, we wouldn't have done it. Yeah.
Right.
So there was no malice of forethought, but I can see Tony in Tony's mind. He's probably paranoid because he has got an irrational hate for WWE, obviously, because they've been tampering with his talent. And he does not like them.
Right.
So he thought, how is it possible my business partner is working with them? But my whole thing was, okay, well, FTR wasn't in the ring when it happened, and then he was like, oh, well, but when Dragon Lee was wearing the belt, FTR's name was on it or something like that. I'm like, who even notices that? But I can see where he felt he was being blindsided because we didn't tell him ahead of time. But if we thought it was a big deal, we would have told him. We didn't think it was a big deal because he didn't say he was with WWE till after the match. You know what I'm saying? So he got on the mic and all he said was, I want to thank AAA for helping me. I want to thank the fans. And I just signed with WWE,
Right.
I guess for Tony, that was like, yeah.
And I'll be honest, bro.
Yeah.
Like you telling me that story, I'm like, okay, how does this affect, how is this going to negatively affect AEW? And
because I think in their mind, they lost to somebody from WWE.
Nobody cares about that crap. I mean, bro, you got these guys. He has his talent working indie shows all over the place.
Right.
You know, like against non-contracted talent.
Plus,
like, who cares?
FTR is already not appearing for the next few months, and it's not like if they did, the commentators would say, "Hey, do you know FTR lost to Dragon Lee last week?" Like
Right.
they'll never mention it.
I don't know if this is
non-story,
Tony.
you know.
I don't know if this is Tony tripping or somebody getting in his ear and go, "Oh, can you believe Konnan again?" He buries the show, and then he does this, and then he's like, "Yeah, you're right. You know, he's not a good partner." But I like Tony. I always have liked Tony.